A lot of things are happening right now, and it seems like the situation regarding what's happening to Islam around the world isn't looking good. You can also see its growing connection to Catholicism, to the Vatican, to Rome, and to a particular prophecy that might be fulfilled there. In the latter part of the video, we will look at a prophecy that could possibly be fulfilled through the Antichrist once he is revealed. But for now, let's first look at the events that led to this, the so-called fake Jesus that is spreading, especially recently through Tucker Carlson. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, please subscribe so you will always be updated with videos like this. Tucker Carlson's network posted something on X that, if you are a Christian who believes in the Bible, is truly shocking. And you wouldn't believe it. It says there that those in power don't want people to know the truth that Muslims love Jesus. It also says that Islam respects him as an important prophet and messenger of the Lord. But the Lord being referred to here is the wrong one, and we'll look into that in a moment. They also believe that he performed miracles and will return to the world to defeat the Antichrist. This is said to be a wrong interpretation, and we will also examine that. Because of this, it is said that the painting of Donald Trump depicting him as the Son of God was insulting to the president of Iran, not only to his religion but also to Christianity. This is where the speaker starts to think that Tucker Carlson might be controlled opposition because, for him, it's not possible to say something like this unless it's intentional or you're being controlled. In his view, the evidence clearly shows the opposite. The Jesus in the Quran is not furthermore according to him. God already knew that this kind of deception would spread, so he gave a warning through his word. One of the verses often mentioned is 1 John chapter 2, verses 22 through 23, which says, "Who is the liar? It is whoever denies that Jesus is the Christ. He is the Antichrist, the one who denies the Father and the Son. Whoever denies the Son does not have the Father either. Whoever acknowledges the Son has the Father also." It is also said that Islam denies that Jesus is the Son of God. And some verses from the Quran are mentioned, such as Surah 4, verse 171, which says, "Do not say three, and God is only one." According to the speaker, if you believe in the Bible and that verse, it supposedly proves that Islam is an Antichrist ideology because it denies the Son. Furthermore, according to this interpretation, the Lord referred to in Islam is supposedly not the same as in Christianity. For them, the Lord of the Christians is the Father of Jesus, while in Islam, he is not. A verse from Surah 9, verse 30 was also mentioned, and it is said that Islam also denies the death, resurrection, and divinity of Jesus. In the end, it is said that the Jesus loved by Muslims, according to Tucker Carlson's statement, is not the same Jesus who is the Son of God in the Bible. And furthermore, this kind of difference can also be seen in other relationships. The Baha'i faith believes that Jesus is a manifestation of God. In some traditions of Hinduism, Jesus is regarded as a holy person, teacher, or avatar. In some interpretations of Buddhism, it is taught that Jesus is an enlightened teacher. In the Druze faith, Jesus is respected as a prophet or an important figure. Meanwhile, in some modern movements and spiritualities, such as New Age spirituality and Gnosticism, Jesus is seen as an ascended master or a revealer of hidden knowledge. But from the speaker's perspective, even if others say they love Jesus, it doesn't necessarily mean they are referring to the true Jesus, the Son of God found in the Bible. For him, all other interpretations of Jesus that are not according to the Bible are wrong. An artwork was also shown, featuring different faces of Jesus, such as Refugee Jesus, Pizza Jesus, Scientist Jesus, and others, which the speaker sees as deviations from the true meaning of Jesus in Christianity. Afterwards, it was mentioned that something unusual is happening now between the Vatican, Catholicism, and Islam, which might be connected to a prophecy in the book of Daniel. Daniel 9:26 was cited, which says, "At the appointed time, the Messiah will be killed, but not for himself, and the people of a coming prince will destroy the city and the sanctuary." According to this interpretation, the coming prince refers to the Antichrist. Because this prophecy was written before Jesus came, And before the Second Temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD, some people associate it with Rome. Because of this, it is said that the Antichrist may have a connection to Rome. And because the Vatican is in Rome, this causes concern for some people. Events such as the participation of Catholic Church leaders in mosques and the deepening relationship between the Vatican and Islam are also mentioned. According to the speaker, the Antichrist and Islam might work together in the future as part of a greater deception in the world before the Antichrist arrives. Furthermore, it was said that there are reports that for the first time, the Vatican has supposedly provided a prayer room for Muslims inside the Vatican Apostolic Library. According to the report, this was in response to the request of Muslim researchers for a place to pray. It was also mentioned that the library contains important ancient manuscripts, including the Quran and collections from various cultures and languages. Overall, the text shows the speaker's perspective about the connection of religion, prophecy, and geopolitical events that he relates to the end times. Founded in 1475, the Apostolic Library is one of the oldest libraries in the world. It contains around 80,000 manuscripts, 50,000 archival documents, and nearly 2 million printed works. In addition to coins and engravings, it is open to researchers from various backgrounds. It is said that the Antichrist will need an army behind him, and this prophecy may explain who will be part of that army. According to Revelation 20 verse 4, the souls of those who were beheaded because of their testimony for Jesus and the Word of God were seen. Those who did not worship the beast or his image and did not receive the mark on their foreheads or hands. This supposedly shows that a time will come when Christians will be killed because of their faith, and it asks who is currently doing this. The text mentioned that there are groups allegedly linked to violence against Christians, and a video was shown featuring statements from some commanders of Hamas. According to them, their fight is not only for Palestine, but also against non-Muslims. And there are statements saying that the fight against Jews and Christians will continue. From this, it is said that for the Antichrist to gain global power, he will need a vast army all over the world. The increase in the Muslim population in Europe was also mentioned, as well as the changing demographics in some countries. In England, for example, there are reportedly cities with Muslim mayors. And this is presented as a major change from the country's previous religious identity. There are also questions about why these changes are happening and who is behind them. Viral videos about the takeover of cities were mentioned, as well as reports of church fires in Canada since 2019. In terms of interpretation, the question is who is responsible? And several verses from the Quran related to warfare and the collection of jizya tax were mentioned. There are also statements that Moses, Jesus, and Abraham are described as Muslims from this perspective. And it is said that Islam is the final revelation after the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the end, it is said that there are possible connections between Islam and end times beliefs and the concept of the Antichrist according to some interpretations, especially based on 1 John 2:22, which refers to denying the Son as the Antichrist. If you start to study more deeply the Christian beliefs about the end of the world and the Islamic beliefs about the end times, there are things that might surprise you and make you think deeply. In Islamic eschatology, there is someone called the Mahdi, a messianic figure who is believed to appear in the last days to bring order before the end of the world and to usher in a kind of paradise in Islam. According to beliefs, the Mahdi will appear as a charismatic leader in the midst of global chaos, will gain control over many nations, will make a 7-year peace agreement, will establish global leadership centered in Jerusalem, will promote a dominant religious system, will perform miracles and signs, and will be accompanied by a powerful follower or prophet. For the speaker, if you listen to this kind of description, it seems similar to the concept of the Antichrist in Christianity. So he says that for him, the Mahdi of Islam seems to be similar to the Christ in the Bible. He adds that if you look at Ezekiel 38 in the Bible, there is a prophecy about a great war in the end times, where many nations will fight against Israel. In this belief, at that moment, Jesus will return and defeat the enemies of God. He also mentioned the ancient names of the countries in the prophecies, such as Gog and Magog, Persia, Cush, Put, and Gomer, which he associates with modern countries in the Middle East and Eurasia. According to him, most of these are countries with Muslim populations, so he makes a connection between Islam and end times prophecy. He also says that Islam is rapidly growing in some parts of the world, and that this could be related to the final events according to this interpretation. However, he also mentioned an important point. He said that Christians should love all people, including Muslims, because God loves everyone equally. But on the other hand, he also says that Islam is a destructive ideology according to his view, a statement that is clearly an opinion and controversial. Afterwards, he goes back to Tucker Carlson's earlier statement and says that his interpretation of Islam and the Quran is clearly wrong. According to him, the Dajjal in Islam is a false messiah who will be opposed by the Mahdi and Jesus in the end times, which he says is different from the concept of the Antichrist in the Bible. They believe that Jesus will descend from heaven, kill what they call the false Jewish messiah, and then spread Islam throughout the world. But Tucker Carlson and anyone listening are reminded that Jesus will never descend from heaven to spread the religion of Islam, a religion that, according to him, repeatedly claims that God has no son and supposedly commands that Jews and Christians should be fought. He mentioned Surah 929, which says to fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day from among the people of the book, or Jews and Christians, until they pay the jizya, a kind of tax while they are under authority. According to this view, Jesus will not return to spread a powerful religion. They say it is a false religion that, according to them, originated from a fallen angel. Galatians 1:8 in the Bible is also mentioned, which says that anyone, even an angel who preaches a different gospel, should be rejected. If you look it up on any search engine, it is said that Muhammad received the Quran from an angel, the Archangel Gabriel, which according to them is a different revelation or a different gospel. It is also said that the Jesus referred to in those comments is not, according to this view, truly loved by Islam, and that Islam does not believe in the full revelation of the New Testament. For the speaker, this kind of association or linking of Jesus to another religion is a deception intended to lead people away from the truth of the Bible. According to him, only the Bible is the true revelation of Christ, containing fulfilled prophecies and accounts that, based on witnesses, say that Jesus is the Son of God and the Messiah. And if a person denies this, he is also denying the Father. And from that perspective, he is considered the Antichrist.